Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria. This is the most spontaneous live I've ever done. So I don't think anyone's going to be joining me, but I just had a very last minute cancellation or reschedule. And I just thought, okay, well, I'm got my computer open and here I am, and I have a little bit of time. So here I am. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Soul Nurturer channel. I did have a few things on my heart. There's nothing scripted. There's nothing I have prepared for this other than I definitely am going to be taking a sabbatical. I'm like, do I come on here to tell you that? Or I didn't want to just fade out. But I've decided I, um, I am going to take a few weeks off, maybe even a whole month. I'm sitting with a whole month idea. I have my own personal projects I need to work on. I have to tell you the truth. And I think that's what this live is going to be about: speaking our truth, honoring our truth, being so connected to ourselves that we're aware when we're off track with our own self-care, our own soul care, and what we need in order to bring our best, right? So I have a few ideas along those lines. So if this is you're just popping in, like scrolling by, and you land on my channel, please stay with me for a moment. The essence of the Soul Nurturer channel is to connect to the essence of your soul and to nurture that. And also, mostly, and it's a very big category, but this channel is for all of us souls having a human experience. So I talk about all of that. With the topics that I'm most interested in, and the way that I help my clients with soul work and soul awareness and self-awareness and honoring the sacred journey of unfolding our potential. So there's so many topics I talk about here. Mostly that. Okay, so first of all, let's just pause together. And let me just ask you truly straight at the top, how are you doing? How are you doing? Out here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is the holiday season. And so during the holiday season, my scarf just fell down, so I'm going to put that back on, my little sacred scarf. During the holiday season, oftentimes the first thing to go is what? What would you guess? Like, we start getting busy, what happens? Well, usually the first thing to go is our own soul care, our own self-care, all the things we do to take care of ourselves. Like I used to do in one of my lectures, I was thinking if I could do it spontaneously, but I'll just demonstrate it without collecting things, to demonstrate how important that practiced in commitment of self-care and soul care is. I would start putting things on my hand, just piling things on my hand, and we'd label them and have my folks say, okay, what does this represent? Represents work. What does this represent? Work, self-care. And I'd pile on my hand and say, we'd do self-care at the top. That's the first thing to fall, right? But when you practice in you first, then others, I know it's a rewiring thing. We're so conditioned to be all about others. We're so externally focused that way. And it's a good thing to be caring for others. It's a good thing to be compassionate about others, for others. It's a good thing to want to help others, but not at the expense of dropping our own needs or dropping ourselves. So then we would identify the soul care, the self-care, and that becomes the first thing. And then I would layer things on top. So, and I would demonstrate that things are when we're overwhelmed and busy, things are going to fall. We're going to realize, okay, probably we've overscheduled, we've overbooked, too many commitments, but you don't drop your own care. I know that's foreign. I'd like to check in with you here. How many of you find that as the heat turns up on, social schedules, I guess 2 people are here, but I don't see anyone. I wonder why I don't see anyone. Let's see. Okay, I've got live chat going. I see a notification 2 people are here, but nobody in the chat. Okay, maybe you're viewing and you're just shy. Okay, hello. I see you. Leah, hey, darling. Welcome. I'm going to be seeing you later. Okay, so what was I say? Oh, so we don't want to drop our own self-care, and we have so much pushback against that, don't we? It's selfish. I should think about others. Lena, hey, welcome. So happy to hear you from YouTube. Um, so we have to sort of, I was going to say fight. I'm going to drop that word. I'm going to say become aware of all the pushback we get when we're claiming our own self-care. It's you're going to feel it, right? Because that's the conditioning coming up. And especially if you hear you should be, you should, I love whoever came up with that saying, don't should on yourself. And notice how often you do that compassionately and with curiosity. Those are my two go-to. Take 2 cc's every day of compassion and curiosity. Be as compassionate as you can, as compassionate as you would be with others for yourself, and be curious about maybe the origin of that pattern, that belief, but don't get stuck there because we just want to glance. I always say too, like in a car, we've got this big windshield in front of us because we're driving forward and we've got a little bitty rear view mirror. Why? Because we're only supposed to glance what's behind us, right? We can't drive looking at the past all the time, right? We want to reference the past as we move forward in order to improve what we're moving forward to, in order to have perspective of what we're believing about ourselves based on our past programming in the present moment. So while we're in the driver's seat, we can make a different choice, go in a different direction. Okay. So how's your self-care and soul care? And I do make this distinction. You all have probably heard me talk about this. Self-care is the physical day-to-day. I worked out. I'm watching what I eat. I always watch what I eat because I love food. I mean, I'm I'm consciously aware of my choices, or I'm saying ideas out loud for you. Self-care would be, you know, scheduling time for yourself. Self-care would be paying attention to when you're tired and resting. Self-care would be, it's more of the physical awareness of your energy. Soul care is that connection to soul, and this is a little bit hard to describe, right? But it's like connected to your essence. So that would be dream work. Dream work is soul care. It's also transformational work or soul work. It would be honoring what brings you joy and doing those things. It would be looking at yourself with some sacred awareness, like what, even like in that objective way, like what is this person called Victoria doing? Observing, witnessing with compassion, with sacredness. I remember one time, working with this years ago. I was working with my mentor probably about 20 years ago, who's a Buddhist teacher, and she was teaching me this idea, this principle of being the sacred witness, the observer of your own life. And I remember 2 occasions so profound that I was so deep there. I remember getting out of my car, probably just had a session with her, got out of my car, and I was like watching a movie of myself, watching this person, Victoria, walk into this store and noticing myself and the way that I articulate my life. Another time I had this profound sacred awareness of my soul in the human experience was coming out of a vision quest. I've done a number of vision quests. My husband is trained in facilitating them. So I think this was one with him, I think. And I remember, coming out of that vision quest, which, by the way, is incredible. You've got 4 days, 4 nights in the woods, fasting, only water, just you in a sacred space, no distractions, no phone, no nothing. In fact, the guidance is to not distract yourself with things like singing songs you like, and you just want to be present to your soul, to your experience, to nature, reflecting back your true nature. Profound experience. Anyway, I remember coming out, and I will be transparent. I'm going to get back to the truth telling in just a moment, that I have a human experience programmed habit of being very hard on myself. Anybody else have that? I still have done so much shifting around it. It's not as profound. It's not as loud. It's not as stifling. it's still there. Okay. So, but in this particular occasion, I came out of the woods and we had transition time. And I went home and I remember walking into I was living in a little tiny house. And I walked in with this just such sweet, sacred awareness of, look at the person who lives here. And it was like my soul witnessing my soul expression in my space. I was looking at my books and I was like, whoa, look at the books that this person reads. I know this may sound wacky, but it was such a cool experience. Look at the colors in the house, and I was looking at all the things that were my soul essence, and I was celebrating it, as opposed to when I'm in my human experience. Oh, look at all the clutter, look at the mess, look at this isn't right, this isn't, and that human experience where a lot of the shoulds are, should be this, should be that. And that experience was such a touchstone in my heart and soul, like, come back to this. Now, I'll be honest, I don't live from there. I'm trying to live from there more often, but it's a constant awareness and choice. Remember, I always say the transformation is awareness before choosing. Constant. And especially during times when there's a lot going on, like during the holidays, a lot more obligations, a lot more things that come up, right? So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And then number 2 was honoring where you are, assessing your needs where you are, and speaking your truth where you are. And this is, we're just recently about this, that we're so conditioned when we're young to disconnect from our truth because we're trying to follow the patterns of everybody else in order to be safe. So this is why I believe our entire soul journey in our human experience is first getting we first get acclimated to being a human through our family of origins, and we get downloaded with all the ways they function and all the ways they survive. And then we've got to go through a process of undoing everything we learned from them, connecting back to our soul, connecting back to our unique purpose and our unique soul calls and our unique being. And it's a constant unfolding and reclaiming. Am I resonating with you ladies at all? And anybody else, when you're watching the replay? I do love comments. They help me know that what I'm saying is landing with you and that it's helping. That's my mission. So that's what we're doing constantly, like whatever's going on in the world and how it triggers us, what's going on with us. And it's showing us our inner world. It's showing us our places where we're stuck in an old way of being, an old conditioned way of being. And that's why it's important to always say, why do I believe this? Where did I learn this? Well, what would I do differently is key. And soul care is connecting so profoundly to knowing your authentic yes, rather than your conditioned yes. There's a difference there. A conditioned yes it's almost like the default, like, oh, yes, I am saying yes because I always do that. I was told to always do that. That's being a good girl. That's what's expected. That's conditioned yes. Now, a conditioned yes may have some of your essence in there. The other way I say this, is wounded self. We could say, okay, we can do like wounded self, programmed self, conditioned self, playing safe self, soul, empowered self, authentic self, unfolding. Soul is unfolding, constantly growing, expanding, reclaiming. So I don't know if any of this makes sense. Like I said, I didn't plan on being here. I had a last minute reschedule. So boom, let's come on. Because I did want to talk about falling back into a pattern myself. And it's not the first time. You've probably heard old videos. I've been doing this for 3 years now, which is such a surprise to me. I didn't think I'd still be here 3 years. And this is what I want to talk about, because every year when I come to the end of the year, I think, okay, do I want to continue? Do I want to keep doing this? And I have the soul call of you. I love this format on YouTube of being able to outreach, connect to people that I would never have had the opportunity of meeting, right? But then my human experience, and it's my wounded self, comes up with all the other things like, okay, here's my wounded self's narrative about doing this YouTube channel. There's so many other people out on YouTube already. So many have similar messages, and I know that my message is unique, but I'm just letting this come out because here's the thing. I share on here, and I share with my clients in more in a transparent way while holding space, and I do that for a couple reasons. Boy, I'm just like woo woo woo, ding ding ding. I've got so many like things I want to say. When I began my own healing journey, oh gosh, a long time ago, 30, maybe 35 years ago, when I was deepening into my spiritual practice and soul care and seeking therapy and going to 12-step programs, doing all the stuff I needed in my human experience to help heal some of the woundedness, to have a different perspective, to take care of both of these necessary parts of me, my soul and my physical human being self. So I remember, trying on therapists, and it was hard, and I say this to people. I want to say that anyone listening, when you're seeking someone to support you, a therapist, a healing practitioner, I'm a hypnotherapist, but I have all kinds of different professional trainings, like spiritual director, and soul coach, all these things. And I think hearing me say this, I have a very eclectic gathering of transformational tools. Why? Because when I went to traditional therapy years ago, I felt very unmet. I felt very unseen, and I tried a lot of therapists. And thank goodness, I will say, currently, I know I have friends that are traditional therapists, and the modality has expanded. But I'd go in, it would be like just someone listening, or worse, just quietly nodding. No connection. Maybe some parroting back. So you're saying this, so you're saying that. And I would leave there going, well, I just opened my heart and my guts and spilled all this, and I have nothing to work with. And I'm just going to go out and have nothing to work with, have no reference. And so I kept seeking therapists that could help me. And I did finally find a great therapist after many tries. And so try on people, ask for a consultation, ask for, I always give a 20-minute free consultation. So the person feels safe with me and feels like the way that I hold space is something that's going to help them. Right. So, where was I going with this? Oh, so I have a tendency to be a little bit more transparent if I feel it's going to support and serve. In fact, my grief video I just did, at the end of that, I'll be honest, again, sometimes we have these when we're transparent and vulnerable. I love Brene Brown says that these, what does she call it? The vulnerability hangover. When I did that grief talk, it was about helping people navigate the holidays while grieving. I cried during it. I cry often. I cry with my clients. Sometimes I'm crying. I feel like they're not my tears. I feel like they're creators' tears, right? And so I don't hold that back. And so a lot of tears came in that video. And then I thought, oh, Victoria, you're being the old human experience beliefs, being too much, too emotional. You don't seem professional. For a little bit, I thought about taking that video down. And ultimately, my soul says, no, this is you being authentically you. This is you offering something that hopefully will help others. That's soul. A soul call is, I'm going to turn off all the opinions that I have and all the opinions of others may have to show up with a sacred offering. Okay. So, Okay, ladies, are you with me still or did you leave? I have a message that my slow mode is on and the message can only come through every minute. I must have checked that. Oh well. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about is I can feel the resistance because I am a recovering people pleaser and I'm also still trying to navigate this YouTube experience, constantly asking myself, what am I here for on the YouTube channel? Am I touching and impacting any lives? I get a few people that comment and a few emails I get, and I have 1,020 subscribers. That's lovely. But the questions still come. Am I making a difference? Am I making an impact? And again, all the chatter, you're not professional enough. You're too much this, and there's other people who do this much more professionally. You know me, I'm always futzing around with my lighting. I don't edit. I don't have an intro, outro. I watch some videos. I'm like, dude, how much time do you have to do all this? Because I don't have that extra time. I'd like to, but so that's where I've been now. That's the human experience, but in the soul experience, I witnessed myself in the old pattern of focusing more on how can I serve here rather than how am I supporting myself. I have projects that I've been neglecting. My own soul care has gotten a little wonky. And so, and this time of the year for me, and I think in general with people in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a time to slow down, to turn within, and especially because we have a holiday Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is going all the way till January 1st. What a beautiful time to pause, reflect, reconsider, re-envision, reimagine, and then restart in the new year. So I feel this resistance. I want to say this is going to be my last video until the new year. And yet I feel this resistance. So I'll have to be curious about that. I know that I typically do an end of the year. Wait to see, 22 right now. Okay. End of the year review. I often do that. You can go listen to some of my old ones. I started it. Well, I've been doing this for my clients for, years, but 2020 was my first official video and it was the year-end review. So I may do that. Just sneak one more video in and then go quietly into my own world for a little while to reconsider how to show up here on YouTube, to reconnect to the original soul call for being here and to see if I'm meeting that. Like I've talked to a lot of people, I was surprised to even talk about astrology in such a public way. It's not something I lead with. It's something that resurfaced for me. Since I was 15, have always it was always an intuitive tool for me that I could look at a chart or talk to somebody about their astrology and feel into their soul. So I've been developing that more for myself and finding that it is a powerful way to support people. I get so many messages after I've done a soul chart, and I call it a soul chart because when I'm looking at an astrology natal chart, I feel like I'm seeing my client's soul. And it's usually this: spot on, you helped me, you validate what I believed and gave me hope and inspiration to fulfill what I'm here to do, which I love. But there's so many other things I love. Like I said, dream work, and soul work, anything soul. So I am going to be stepping away just to sit with Victoria, to sit with my soul, to sit with my inner child, to see where I can do better with the potential I have to nurture my own soul potential. And I will say this, that for me, and I know a lot of my viewers out there connect to the wounded healer. So always toggling between our wound and our gift, our wound and our gift. And it's easy to fall back into the wound. And for me, my wounding was around being neglected, growing up without really any parenting. This is why I have such deep faith, because I feel the divine was ever present with me, guiding me, protecting me. but I didn't have the human instruction very, very well. And the neglect part, usually I say this a lot, is how we were parented or weren't parented is how we are with ourselves. So there was a lot of neglect and abandonment. And so unconsciously, when I get too busy, what happens? I start to abandon myself. I start to neglect my own needs. And I started to notice last week supporting clients and loving them forward and asking how they're doing and hearing them say, I'm doing all these great things like you talk about. I got a massage, I'm doing this and doing that. And I'm thinking to myself, they're doing better than I am because they're taking my advice. And this is my whole theme of my work, is learning to cultivate our compassion and practicing taking our own advice. So I would be inauthentic to keep going at this rate where I'm at. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Wow. Okay. Now I'm seeing 2555. Okay. I'm getting all those, angel messages. So I know that this is right. And I know I will miss you. And I will commit to this. I will do the final video for this year. And that will be help you kind of review this year that we all just grew through, all of the obstacles and challenges, rich opportunity for growing soul potential, our strengths, a deepened awareness, so that we can reclaim more of our authentic soul essence. I have a sneeze coming on. Okay. I always say when you sneeze, it's like you're asking for a blessing. So bless me. And so I want to leave you with that so that you can work with that as we get ready to clear away some old stuff and then reclaim what we want to move forward with in the new year. I will do that. It may be this weekend, it may be early next week. And then I'm going to just step out for a little bit. You can continue to email me. I may be a little bit slower at responding to the emails. Email thesoulnurturer@gmail.com. I know there's some confusion about that because my website is linked to a different email, and I'm going to change that soon. I'm going to ask my husband to help me change that because I want all my emails to go to thesoulnurturer@gmail.com for now. So feel free to email me, stay connected, watch some of my old videos, and if you have any suggestions as I'm sitting with myself and sitting with my soul and sitting with the vision of what might be coming next with this channel, please do drop me a line. Let me know your thoughts. What has helped you with the videos I've offered? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see me do in a new way? I've talked about maybe inviting people on with me. Just any suggestions you have, I would really, really, really appreciate. Okay. One last thing I wanted to do before I ducked out. If I can find my cards. I don't know where they are. I have these beautiful cards. They're called Soulflower cards, and they're little affirmations, but I don't know where I put my cards. So I guess I'm not going to do that. See how prepared I am. I was not planning on coming on here, so I don't know where they are. Anyway, I do want to give a shout out to these cards. They're called the Soul Flower cards, and they're beautiful plant medicine. They're different plants and flowers with beautiful, like the medicine of that plant in an affirmation way. And I don't have them in front of me to offer one to you, so I'll just affirm you from my heart to yours. And may you trust that right where you are is right where you need to be. There's no wrong or right or missteps or too late or being lost. Right where you are in this moment, pause, give thanks for your life. I'm going to cry. This is coming fresh. Give thanks for your life, for your unique and beautiful soul. Give thanks and gratitude for all the lessons learned in your lifetime, and especially this last year. Tether into your knowing of what's right for you. May you receive what you need in every area of your life, the basics, food, shelter, money, soul necessities, joy, peace, safety. May you reclaim and reconnect to your inner child, the one that holds your potential and purpose. May you love and nurture that potential and purpose. May you listen during this time of Mercury retrograde, reconnect to what matters. Reclaim your truth, reclaim your voice, reclaim your purpose. Remember who you truly are. For you are here for a reason, and your soul and your unique potential is here for a reason. So may you do the healing that is needed to unhook from your stuck places, your conditioned way of being, to reemerge in 2024 fully connected to what brings you joy, what has awakened your soul, and to all of your possibilities and potential. This is my wish for you, my soul friends. Thanks for being with me. Thank you, ladies, for being with me, being so spontaneous with me. If this is your first time watching, even though I'm going to step out for a little bit, consider subscribing. Keep this channel alive while I step away, and I will be re-inspired to come back. Again, stay tuned for that last video of this year, which will be helping you kind of just enjoy reflecting on this last year and reclaiming and remembering what is needed for as you go forward into 2024. Okay, thanks for being with me. So much love. Take good care of yourself. Slow down, catch yourself when needed. Put your hand over your heart, offer yourself compassion, affirm yourself, affirm your life, and choose from a sacred awareness of what's best for your soul. And remember that you're worth it. And it's safe for you to have what you desire. Okay, that's it. All my love. Take good care. Bye-bye.